So I just want to take a minute and show you this cool new way in which you can interact with your WPF applications. What I have here is a USB interface board that I bought from Fidgets, and that's PHIDGETS.com. And what this interface board allows you to do is to connect all types of electrical sensors as well as digital in and outputs to this board, and then I can either control a WPF application from an external sensor or control, or I can go the other way. I can actually use WPF to control some type of electrical device. Now I have three different sensors connected to the board right now, and these are analog sensors. First I have a simple rotation knob, then I have a slider, and then I also have a light sensor, which is a photoelectric light sensor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can use these things to control a WPF application. So if you're looking on the screen now, you can see I just have a WPF application with a 3D model of the frog logo. So what I'm doing now is reading in the values from these three different sensors, and I'm mapping the values from these sensors to different values for this 3D scene. So let's first take this rotation knob, and what this is controlling, you can see as I turn it, I'm actually controlling the rotation of this model. So I'm applying a rotate transform 3D inside of the C#, and I'm mapping it to the value that's being read in from this rotation knob. So the next sensor is this slider sensor, and this is actually controlling the Z position of the 3D model. So as I slide this up and down, we can see I can zoom in and out on my model. And again, I can use the rotation knob to adjust the rotation. But probably the coolest sensor that I'm using here is this light sensor. So this is a photoelectric light sensor, and what I'm doing is I'm using the value from that light sensor to color the light in this 3D scene. So you can see as I start to put my hand over the sensor that my 3D scene is getting darker. And if I actually put my hand all the way over it, let me try to get it all the way down. So pretty much now the photoelectric sensor isn't returning anything or a very low value, and my 3D scene is really dark. And if I open it up again, we can see we have full light again. So again, this could open up all types of opportunities for, I don't know, adjusting the brightness of an interface based on the light available picked up by this sensor. So again, this is a really cool way to bring the outside world into a WPF application. Now let's quickly jump over and I'll show you some of the C# code that I'm using to do this. Okay, so here I am in the C# for the little example here. And you can see that there's a Fidgets namespace that I'm importing. If we actually go into the references, there's a DLL file, this fidget21.net, and this is something you can download for their website. So not only do Fidgets support C# and .net, but you can get it for a large variety of languages, including ActionScript 3 for Flash development. So I import this namespace, and basically the main section of code here is I create a new Fidgets manager, and then I open the connection to that, and that's going to actually find the Fidget board that's connected to the USB port, and it just creates some error event handlers here. And the bulk of the work is being done in the composition target.rendering event, which of course gets continuously fired. And down in that event handler, what I'm doing is creating a new matrix 3D. Then what I'm doing is here I'm reading in the value, and we can see right here ik.sensors, and then we give it an index for which sensor input this rotation knob is actually plugged into. So I'm creating a new rotate transform 3D, and I'm appending it to that matrix 3D. Then I'm appending another transform, which is a translate transform, and then here I'm reading in the value from the slider and just doing a little bit of math so that I can control the z-axis with that slider value. Okay, then finally I apply that matrix transform 3D to our 3D object. Now for the actual color, what I do is I'm reading in the value from that light sensor, and then here the color for my 3D light, I'm applying it based on the light value coming in from that sensor. And I'm applying a new RGB color, and I'm just obviously, since all of the RGB components are the same value, it's going to be a shade of gray, which is fine. So if the light sensor was reading in 0, then it would essentially be 0, 0, 0 or black. And if the light is returning a full value, then it's going to be white. So again, this is just the basics, and this is only a simple example of what you can do, because you're not limited to the sensors that you can buy from Fidgets. You can connect any type of analog or digital input to the Fidgets board and either have them control your WPF application, or you can have your WPF application actually controlling an electrical component outside of the computer. So it's just a really interesting thing, and hopefully I'll post some more examples on this soon.